Well, hello there. I'm Joanne Jolie. It is Sunday night in America, and I want to welcome you to this live stream, Encourage One Another. If you are new to my channel, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that my morning tea posts are rather polished. They're nicely edited. You won't find too many mistakes in them, but we are live, so anything can happen. I'm pretty excited about this. This is new. The morning tea posts tend to be difficult topics, trending topics that aren't so nice, but they have important teaching lessons involved with them. But the plan here is very different. The plan is simply to uplift, to encourage, to set our minds on good things. And I'm also looking forward to engaging a little bit more closely with the people in this community as it's growing. So for me, Sunday evening has always been a cue to prepare for the coming week. Just sit back and look at what's coming up, opportunities for me to fix things, to make progress in certain areas, to make sure that I'm improving on things, and to be very diligent about where I am, what it is that the Lord has put before me right now, and to do the best I can with it. So this show is laid back. It's designed to be very relaxing and calming. There'll be some curated content around the topic of encouragement. So I hope you have a cup of something warm in your hand and you've got your feet up and just ready to settle down for just a few minutes. Hi again, I'm Joanne Jolie, and welcome to Encourage One Another. The title of this show, Encourage One Another. There are around about 50 instances in the New Testament of that phrase where believers are supposed to do something to each other, supposed to love each other. There's a lot of that. Be patient with each other, care for one another, forgive one another. This is where the believer's life plays out, with the one anothering with each other. We don't get to just be our isolated selves sitting in a dark spot. You don't grow like that. We have to bear with each other because sometimes we can be unbearable or we can't bear each other. And that's because we have sin natures and we have, human fragility and lots of fleshly problems within ourselves. And it can just be really tough sometimes. So here's a question. Why should we encourage each other? Based further down. Well, one of the reasons is in Hebrews 3:13. Exhort one another every day as long as it is called today, so that none of you may be hardened by the deceitfulness of sin. So exhort is a stronger form of encourage. It has a sense of urgency to it as to how important this is. So Matthew Henry, in his commentary, who I often refer to, he has some very good wise words around this. So here we go. He says, observe first. We should be doing all the good we can to one another while we are together, which will be but a short and uncertain time. And 2, since tomorrow is none of ours, we should make the best improvement of today. Then he changes and he talks in the negative with his third point here. If Christians do not exhort one another daily, they will be in danger of being hardened through the deceitfulness of sin. Note, first, there is a great deal of deceitfulness in sin. It appears fair, but it's filthy. It appears pleasant, but it's pernicious. It promises much, but performs nothing. Isn't that the truth? And then his second point in this is the deceitfulness of sin is of a hardening nature to the soul. One sin allowed prepares for another. Every act of sin confirms the habit, and sinning against conscience is the way to sear the conscience. And therefore, it should be of great concern to everyone to exhort himself and others to beware of sin. That's why it is so important that we encourage and exhort one another, looking after each other. So what does one anothering actually look like? What's some examples of that? I have this very, very sweet story that I'm going to read you, a short story, that will show you a practical application for one anothering. So here we go. In a small village, there was a widow named Susan who lived alone. She'd grown old and her health had started to decline. One cold winter evening, she slipped and fell. while gathering firewood, unable to get back up. Noticing Susan's absence from church the following Sunday, a few women from the congregation visited her home. When they found her injured, they immediately took action. One of them drove Susan to the hospital. Another stayed to clean her house. And a third prepared meals to ensure that she wouldn't be without food. Over the weeks of Susan's recovery, the women continued to visit her, bringing encouragement and practical help. Susan was overwhelmed by their kindness, and it reignited a sense of love and community in her own heart. She felt deeply grateful for the body of believers who cared for her, and in turn, she made it a priority to encourage others in the community to give back. I will say that that story really resonated with me because, well, first, we're very self-sufficient people. We, for the most part, aren't we? We take care of our own needs. We don't really go foraging for food every day. And we don't often get to feel that need for community. We don't get to see the one anothering so much in action until there's a calamity. And when there's a disaster, we have a jolt and we get that realization that we have a need and that it is very easy to become needy. And that's when community sweeps in. And you get to feel that love, you get to see love in action. And it's very humbling when this happens. This happened to me. It really touches your pride. Some decades ago, I had a medical emergency, and the ladies of my church descended on me, and they brought meals, and they cleaned my house, and I had a few babies at the time, and they took the babies so I could rest and recover, and they prayed with me. And in the days that followed, they would call, "How are you doing? Still thinking of you. Is there anything else we can do?" And so I was supported during that whole time with my physical needs, my emotional needs, my spiritual needs. And they also got to do good works. They got to rack up their rewards, their points with the Lord, because this is what he wants us to do. And he's watching what we do. The small things that nobody else notices, they're very, very important to him. We're his hands and feet. And we do the one anothering for him. So that's a reason not to be too proud to receive acts of kindness from people, not to turn them away. It's a chance to help them build up their reward, build up their personal joy as they expend their time and their resources doing this. So my question to you would be, this week, how can you reach out to the people in your community? First of all, to the community of believers. That's first and foremost who we're supposed to be giving our best to, and to start plugging into a one anothering somewhere. It's most church communities, and I'll speak about my community. We have a care ministry, and so what happens is that there's a disaster, there's a calamity, an email blast goes out. And there's a list of things that are needed. We need meals for this week. We need rides. We need someone to go over to the house and visit. We need all sorts of things. And though everybody pitches in, they take a small little bit of the burden, which is lifted up from the suffering person. That is a very good example of getting involved in a community and finding ways to one another and encourage and help. So at this point, I will offer a prayer for the coming week. And I have a gorgeous, beautiful prayer that I fell in love with in the 80s. It's from the Sarum Primer, which was written somewhere around about the 13th or 14th century. But this particular prayer, it's about God being in my head, God being in my heart, God permeating every part of my being. I also put music to this. I'm a musician, and I put music to this back in the 80s or early 90s. So instead of saying it, I will play the song for you right now. And if you just want to close your eyes and listen to these magnificent words and pray, I will come back when this is done. Amen to that. I hope you enjoyed that magnificent little prayer that's just been around for hundreds of years. So that is what I have. Oh, I have some comments here. Hello to Lynn from Rochester, New York. Oh, it's late over there. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. Glad you're here. And Teresa. Oh, there you are, Teresa. Thank you so much for joining this live stream. That's what I have for you. I hope that you have found some encouragement this week to go out and offer encouragement. You know, you don't know what's going on in the heart of a person who's looking at you and smiling at you. You don't know how discouraged they are, how much they're suffering inside. So any chance you get to smile at someone, to say an encouraging word, say something nice, and to be as forgiving as possible, it's really nice. I mean, I was at the grocery store this week, and you know, I don't fuss over myself too much, but the girl that was bagging my groceries, she said to me, "Oh, your hair looks so pretty." And I just like, you know, it felt very, very nice. It was such a small thing, and I don't fuss about my hair, but that's the sort of thing, even small things like that. If you're at the grocery store and you make a nice comment to somebody, wherever you can, drop just a tiny bit of encouragement. So I ask the Lord to bless you this week as you look to honor him in everything that you do and you think and you say. I'll see you next Sunday.